Okay. Okay. Hi, Blaine.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good, good. So we wanted to have this conversation and videotape this to help our communication with our teachers and with our students and their families all around Tulsa, to capture a recommendation that we're going to be making to the Tulsa Board of Education about our start and end times of school and how that affects our buses and so forth. And this is a change that will affect people's daily schedules for next school year, and so certainly we want to make sure that everyone knows about what the board is considering and has a chance to weigh in on that, and certainly so that people know about the fact that it's potentially coming for next school year. And so the first thing I think that would be really helpful for people to know about is, why are we doing this? Why are we even considering such a change?
Well, there's two things that can be accomplished by a change like this for our transportation system. One is certainly improving our safety and our performance of our system, as well as reducing costs for the district at a time when we really need that.
Mm-hmm. And so we want to make sure our students are safe. We want to make sure they get to school on time. And, we know that we're in a crisis with our state finances right now. So we're looking for any way we can to save money. So that's really good. If this can help us do that, that'd be a positive thing. So when we launched into this consideration, we had to think about a lot of different things and factor those in as we were playing this out. And you had a number of people who worked with you to think through it, people from the school perspective, people from the athletics perspective, and the student services perspective, and so forth. And so what were some of the things that you guys talked about, that you wondered about, to make sure we were being really smart in the recommendation?
Absolutely, and there were so many things to consider when you making a change of this nature. We had to think of things about the hours of running the services, and whether or not we could accommodate the different scenarios we looked at in terms of the different programs in the schools,
Mm-hmm.
the standard delivery of children to the schools, as well as things like breakfast in the morning. We have so many kids in our district that eat in the morning, so we had to make sure that we could accommodate that, and ideally accommodate that better. We wanted to make sure that we were achieving not only the ability to deliver the kids, but we have had a challenge in the district of doing on-time delivery in some of our areas in the district, and we really wanted as an outcome to be able to improve that. So looking at making sure we got our kids there on time to eat and to be in class so that they could be ready for instruction was really important to us. Other things that we had to consider.
So before you go on from that, I think that's really important, because we know that our overall on-time rate is really good as a district. But at the same time, we know that we have some routes that are really chronically late. And it just has to do with our ability, the way that those are scheduled. And so that's been really frustrating for some families, and certainly unhelpful to the schools that are affected by that. So that's a positive thing.
Absolutely, and that was one of the outcomes that we really wanted to achieve as we addressed changing how the transportation system would serve the schools.
Okay.
Other things that we had to consider, particularly on the secondary level, were schedules around our students who participate in programs concurrently with the district,
Mm-hmm.
such as VOTEC and TCC. And so we had to align
So that's like
transportation.
Tulsa Tech and Tulsa Community College, and
Yes.
doing classes when students at the high school are taking classes in both places.
So that they could
Mhm.
participate in concurrent enrollment. So that had to be an important factor in supporting our students in that way. Another thing that had to be considered, of course, was things that had to do with athletics and programs of that nature, as well as other events that we support, like field trips and things where the kids are involved in outside
Right.
activities.
And we know that some of our high school students work, and I know I remember that was one of the things that you guys really talked about and considered as well.
And that's a big factor in our district.
Mm-hmm. So at the beginning, when we were talking about why we were doing this, we really talked about the benefits of that, and really student safety, the money that we can save in doing this, and then being better performance. But there's some other benefits too. When it comes to safety, I know you've told me about, when the drivers aren't as rushed between their pickup and drop-offs, and that they can better concentrate on the road and on being safe. Can you say a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. And in terms of the time to run our routes today, we have what we call a 30-minute window to complete a bell time tier. And that is very tight in Tulsa, given our schools are community schools, and we often are competing with other traffic during the hours of
and all the construction that we
and
have
all
in
the
Tulsa.
construction that we have. So many of our roads are, and we're thankful for the improvements
Yes,
that are
we
being
are.
made, but they are happening at the same time we're trying to use the road. So that puts a lot of stress on a driver that's trying to make sure that they're picking the kids up and getting them to school on time, and then get to the next stop that they have to service as part of their route. That 30 minutes is a very, very tight window to do that. This change results in that time being extended and allows the drivers to have more time to navigate our communities and get the children to school safely.
And I know that the other thing that's a benefit is that we have some really great research about our high school students and their sleep schedules and all of that, and you were able to factor in some of that research. And without going into any detail, could you just say quickly what you did there?
Absolutely. When we thought about our high school start times, we did factor that in terms that there's a fair amount of research that suggests that teenage students do better when they start later. So when we thought about the start time for our secondary schools, that was absolutely factored in. So we were able to accommodate that as well.
Great. So I think, obviously the start time for students is something that affects our schools directly. And so when our teachers are needing to get to work to be prepared for the day. But I think the other thing that families are going to want to know about is, okay, well, I know if school starts at a certain time, but how is that going to affect the pickup time? Are we going to have children, having to, be outside way earlier in the morning, or how does that work? So can you say a little bit about how the pickup times are affected, not just the start time of school?
Absolutely, and that is one of the things that we had to consider, especially with the morning pickups, was the time that the students had to be at their pickup location. And by changing the system the way that we've been able to do with route planning, there is no case with the new schedule where students have to be there any earlier, and in most cases it's a few minutes later that they need to be there.
Wonderful, because of the improvements to the routes.
That's correct.
Wonderful. Okay. So I guess I would summarize to just say that we wanted to make this video to provide some additional information, some questions that people might be asking, questions that we've heard already. And along with this video, we'll have information that will be up on our website that will say exactly what time we're proposing that every school will begin. Again, this is for next school year, the 2016-2017 school year.
Yes.
And we wanted to make sure that families have lots of lead time to prepare for any changes, assuming that we move forward as we're recommending.
Yes.
So, okay, well, thank you so much, Blaine. We appreciate you
You're very
sharing
welcome.
this information with us. Thank you.